ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम। सुमुखश्च एकदन्तश्च कपिलो गजकर्णकः लम्बोदरश्च विकटो विघ्नराजो विनायकः धूमकेतुर्गणाध्यक्षः फालचन्द्रो गजाननः वक्रतुण्डः शूर्पकर्णो हेरम्बः स्कन्दपूर्वजः शुक्लाम्बरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये। यस्य वरदवक्त्राढ्याः पारिषद्याः परस्पथं विघ्नं निघ्नन्ति सततं विश्वक्सेनं तमाश्रये। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुर्साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। सच्चिदानन्दरूपाय कृष्णाय अक्लिष्टकारिणे नमो वेदान्तवेद्याय गुरवे बुद्धिसाक्षिणे कृष्णद्वैपायनं व्यासं सर्वभूतहिते रतं वेदाब्जभास्करं वन्दे समाधिनिलयं मुनिं जन्माद्यस्य यतः अन्वयात् यतरतश्च अर्थेषु अभिघ्नः स्वराट् तेने ब्रह्महृदायः आदिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः तेजोवारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र सद्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि धर्मः प्रोचिधकैतवोऽत्र परमो निर्मत्सराणां सतां वेद्यं वास्तवम् अत्र वस्तु शिवदं तापत्रयोन्मूलनम् श्रीमद्भागवते महामुनिकृते किं वा परैरीश्वरः सद्यो हृदि अवरुध्यतेः अत्र कृतिभिः सत्सुश्रुषिभिः तत्क्षणात् निगमकल्पतरोर्गलितं फलं सुखमुखात् अमृतद्रवसंयुतं पिबत भागवतं रसमालयं मुहुरहो रसिकाः भुवि भावुकाः यं प्रव्रजन्तम् अनुपेतम् अपेतकृत्यं द्वैपायनो विरह कातर आजुहाव पुत्रेति तन्मयतया तरवः अभिनेदुभूतं सर्वभूतहृदयं मुनिम् आनतोऽस्मि यः स्वानुभावम् अखिलश्रुतिसारम् एकम् अध्यात्मदीपम् अतितितीक्षतां तमोन्धम संसारिणां करुणयाः पुराणगुह्यं तं व्याससूनुम् उपयामि गुरुं मुनीनां नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयम् उदीरयेत्। Now with Swami's grace we will take up Adhyayam 4. Skandham 4, Adhyayam 1 today, and take up Pratipada Artham, word by word meaning. It is a wonder of wonders. Sometimes, miracles take place continuously. In fact, they take place in our lives. And so most of the times, we are not aware of it. We are not sensitive to it. We are open to it. But one of the wonders and the Ascharyam, the miracles that Bhagavan's blessing is the continued teaching of Srimad Bhagavatam that Bhagavan is teaching us. And in terms of qualifications or deservedness, then what do I really know about Srimad Bhagavatam? It's the monumental nectar and amritam that was composed by Bhagavan Vyasa himself, who himself was an avataram of Sriman Narayana. And that Vyasa Bhagavan, Sarvabhuta Hite Ratham, that Bhagavan has composed these slokas, and it has been taught by none other than Sukhamuni himself. So we were talking of Parabrahman, Brahmanyanigal, one with Bhagavan. And that Amrita, that nectar, being shared among us by Bhagavan only. Not, I have absolutely no qualifications, so I'm sure that If any mistakes I make, any errors that I commit, insufficient inadequacies, Bhagavan will take care of it. Swami, who's making this happen through me and through you, will fill the void and will continue to teach us. Now, the first 3 skandhangal that we covered, we also did a quick review of that, talks about the greatness of Srimad Bhagavatam, why it is the panacea, especially for Kali Yugam, and there is nothing else other than Bhakti Yogam that is most supreme. We should not get caught between the various scholastic arguments and gyrations. Is it Bhakti Yogam, Jnana Yogam, Karma Yogam, so many things. They're all actually fruitless discussions. Fruitless in the sense they lead to nowhere, except we learn that they lead to nowhere. In that sense, they have got some use. The important thing is whichever path we follow, it is infused only with love for Bhagavan. Bhakti only, there is nothing else. Whichever way you approach it, it's only love for Bhagavan.
Excuse me, Mr. Krishna Swami.
Yes.
If someone
yes,
needs, seems like there is a lot of background sound.
Okay. If you could kindly text it, it will be better.
Okay.
And where was I? Yeah. So Bhakti Yogam is Pradhanam. Bhakti Yogam is the only thing we need to worry about, not to get into confusions or discussions, which is superior, which is better and all that. As Bhagavan himself says, the most direct and the easiest pathway is Bhakti Yoga. But by also we saw a very brief summary of what Bhakti Yoga is. Bhagavan himself describes it, exclusive, total love for Bhagavan. We also covered what Swami himself says, Bhagavan himself says, what is this bhakti, what is this love. We covered that also. Love is my form, truth is my breath, bliss is my food. We covered that too. Better to remember all this. Now, as Suta Muni says, as Sukha Muni says, as Vyasa Bhagavan says, repeatedly, and none other than Kapila Bhagavan himself says that repeatedly has said that, is when you listen to the stories and glories of Bhagavan, that is the easiest entrance door and the passage, the vehicle that takes us along the bhakti path. Nothing else I need to do. All I have to do is listen to it. That's all. That is the power of these, Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavatam. And once I listen to it once, I want to listen to it again and again and again and again. It continues ad infinitum. It becomes sweeter and sweeter. That itself is a panacea. That is why in the prayer slokams, we say is Sukhamukat Amrita Dravya. That Amritam, it is nectar that is coming out. Now the first 3 skandhangal, we covered all this. We also covered the aspect of sargam, what in our English language we call it primary creation. Even though creation is simultaneous and happens at the same time, in our limited understanding, we classify it as, primary. And we saw what the 24 components were. And again, remember, if you refresh your memory, every one of these aspects of Bhagavan, every one of them, whether Pancha Mahabhutangal, whether Panchendriyangal, whether Pancha Tanmatregal, whether Pancha Pranas, it really doesn't matter, or Ahamkaram, or Manas, Buddhi, whatever, or Kalam, whatever it can be that we covered, each one is infused with Bhagavan only, is divinity only. Always remember that. It appears different, but it's the same entity that appears differently. Now, in order to inculcate and illustrate this truth, this fundamental truth, Bhagavan comes down as Avatarangal. Now, to try and understand an avataram with our mind and intelligence is a full of wasted effort, futile, absolutely futile. It is beyond all that. We cannot grasp it. But one thing that we can grasp, and we must grasp it with full faith, Avataram comes only for one purpose: to share the love, the limitless love, and show us the pathway of that love, how to live in love. That is what Avatarams come. It can come at any time, any form, any place. It so chooses. And we are going to see in Adhyayam 1 what we call as a Visargam, which is we saw how Brahma was created by Bhagavan himself, came from the Padmanabham, that we saw that. Now we also saw the other aspects. And then with these, the 24 aspects that you have personally, I have personally in our mind, we can evaluate it. Varieties of creations take place. Continuously, dynamically. It appears, disappears, appears, disappears. So this is taking place every moment. In this process, because the Buddhi also wants to understand where on earth, why, what is this happening? So I have this body. Where did I come from? I was born to my parents, but who were they born to? And who were they born to? And who were they born to? We trace this lineage back. And then we call this as, our Gotranga. If you see some of the names of rishis we're going to see, will be your Gotram. In our Sanatana Dharma, we call it the Gotranga. Now, in modern language, they call it genealogy. But how we originate right from Brahma himself. That's very important to understand. The Visargam starts from him, from the creating Sakti. And that is what the Adhyayam 1 is going to cover very briefly. The various offsprings. Now we talk of human beings now, okay? The other creations are different. We already covered that. So, the Prajapatigal, how did we come about? Where did we come from? Where was the line? Can I trace my lineage all the way back to Brahma? Yes, I can. Okay? But given in a very nutshell form. And remember, Brahma himself was born from the womb of Srimanarayana. Srimanarayana is nothing but the first manifestation, avataram, of the invisible, ever-present, the limitless ocean of love. That is all it is. So you and I are truly, not only spiritually or not only mentally we are connected, physically also we are connected. That is why brothers and sisters, when we address each other, that is a true statement. We're going to see that in Adhyayam 1. And with a very brief introduction, and with my humble namaskarams to my master and my guru and my all, I will start from slokam. Hopefully we can cover the first 6 slokanga today. As I wrote to you on the note, there are 31 adhyayanga, okay? And there are different subjects that are being covered. Before we take up that specific subject, I'll tell you what are the adhyayams in which it is covered. In Adhyayam 1, all we're going to see would be the lineage and the line of Swayambhuva, so daughters. We saw Devahuti in the previous chapter and Kapila, right? And what happened to Devahuti's daughter and who they got married to, all those we saw. And remember, Swayambhuva, Manu and Satyarupa had 2 other daughters. So who are the children of those? So who did they marry? So this is how the progeny, the lineage starts. We're going to cover that. Okay, and up to slokam 47 in Adhyayam, 46 in Adhyayam 1, we'll be covering several of the Prajapatis and the offspring from the 2 daughters. And 47 onwards, it will be the Daksha Prajapati. And that is covered in much more detail in Srimad Bhagavatam, but we will take up later. It covers to several following adhyayams also. Very important to do that. And then Swayambhuva, Manu and Satyarupa also had 2 sons. The stories of them also we will cover later. So amazing Avataram that comes. Dhruva story is one of the most powerful in Srimad Bhagavatam. So starting now onward, it is going to be not work for the intelligence of the mind, but for the heart. All we have to do is listen to the Avatarangal and what they did and all that. And that's all we have to do. Keeping in mind, these are all beyond our ability to understand. Okay, respecting that, respecting the limitation of our own mind and intelligence and buddhi, we must open our heart and listen to it sincerely, and Bhagavan will enter. Now, Slokam 1. And remember again, Swayambhuva Manu and Satarupa, because Brahma wanted to create progeny, right? Without going through the reviewing all the things we covered. So he split himself. He became one, became two. He made himself into two. The attracted and the attractor, right? The attracted is Manu, Swayambhuva Manu. Swayambhuva means Swayam, born from it himself. Satarupa is the attractor, the one attracting element in creation. We covered that. And that is attracts in 100 different ways. Therefore, it's called Satarupa. Now, Swayambhuva Manu and Satarupa are the first progenitors for you and me. Please remember that. Now, how did it happen? In the beginning, right in the beginning of this Kalpam, that is what we're going to cover. So, Slokam number 1. Atha Chaturtha Skandha. Chaturtha Skandha means fourth Skandham. Atha Pratamodhyayaha. Now, the first Adhyayam. Maitreya Uvacha. Manostu Satarupayam Titraha Kanyascha Jagdire Akutihi Devahutihi Cha Prasutihi Iti Tisrutaha. All the 6 lokangal are very simple, so I'll go through them fairly quickly. Okay? Maitreya Uvacha. Manostu Satarupayam Tistraha Kanyascha Jagdire Akutihi Devahutihi Cha Prasutihi Iti Visrutaha. Manoho, two, and, but, in addition to that, Manoho was Swayambhuva Manu, to him, to that Swayambhuva Manu, Satarupayam, with Satarupai, Ahutihi, Devahutihi, Prasutihi Iti. Called the named Ahuti, Devahuti, and Prasuti Iti. Thus, Cha and. But and is very important because now, why I'll come to that in a minute. Okay? Visrutaha, very famous, not the type of fame that we go after, no. A fame, a reputation born of good character and good conduct. The one, when a person is full of a sacrificial conduct, that's the fame we are talking of. With good values, dharmic values. Okay, Visrutaha. Tistraha Kanyaha Cha. Tistraha, 3. Kanyaha, daughters, Cha and. That Cha is very important, okay? Jagdire, they were born. So for Manu, for Swayambhuva Manu with Satarupai, 3 daughters, and 3 daughters were born. And the 3 daughters were born who were very famous. Ahuti, Devahuti, Prasuti. What is that and Cha means? Because he also had 2 sons. In addition to 2 sons, which we are going to see later, 3 daughters were born. Slokam number 2. Akutim Ruchaye Radat Api Bhratrumatim Nrupaha Putrika Dharmam Asritya Tatarupa Adumoditaha. Akutim Ruchaye Pradate Api Bhratrumatim Nrupaha Putrika Dharmam Asritya Satarupa Anumoditaha. It's a beautiful lesson here in how to lead a married life. Okay, amazing. This one and one or two slokams later, Bhagavan himself shows us how to live. Okay, that example also I'll share with you. Bear with me. So, Akutim Uchaye Pradate Api Bhratre Mati Nrupaha. Nrupaha, the king. Swayambhuva Manu, Satarupa Anumoditaha. With the permission. Anumoditam means to give permission, to grant permission, not only just to agree, but also to permit that action to be done. 2 different things. So, Satarupa Anumoditaha, after being permitted by Satarupa, not only does she agree, she also agrees totally, yes, we will do it. Okay. What did she agree to and what did she permit? Bhratru Matim Api. Bhratru Matim. Even though Bhratru Matim Api Akutim. Let us take that together. Bhratru Matim Api Akutim. Akuti, the daughter, first daughter, Bhratru Matim, even though she had brothers, Api, even though she had brothers, Ruchaye Putrika Dharmam Asritya. Ruchaye, to the Ruchi Prajapati, Putrika Dharmam Asritya, following the Putrika Dharmam, Ahutim Ruchaye Pradat. He gave Ahuti in marriage to Ruchi Prajapati after getting permission of his wife Satarupa, even though Ahuti had brothers. What is a Putrika Dharmam? Normally, when parents do not have a son and they have only a daughter, they give that daughter away in marriage to a person. Before that, they have the Putrika Dharmam. According to that, they get agreement from their son-in-law and their daughter that if a son is born to you, please you give that son back to us. We will adopt him and we will bring him up for various reasons. It could be for administrating purposes, whatever it is. And this is Putrika Dharmam in Swayambhuva Manu himself. So this is Manu Shastra. So here the question comes, but Swayambhuva Manu and Satarupa already had two sons. Why did they follow Putrika Dharmam here? According to that, why did they have this agreement? Because Swayambhuva Manu knew who was going to be born for Ruchi and Akuti. Bhagavan himself is going to take an avataram. Same way he came for Devahuti as Kapila Bhagavan. For Akuti also, Bhagavan is going to appear as an avataram, and he wanted to have him as a son. So, Putrika Dharma Asritya Pradat. So Akuti was given in marriage to Ruchi Prajapati. Follow the lineage carefully. Praja, Slokam number 3. Prajapatihi sa Bhagavan Ruchihi tasyam aji janate mitunam brahmavarchasvi paramena samadhina. It's a beautiful slokam. How Bhagavan manifests himself in you and me. We don't realize it. Okay, right to the beginning of creation we are talking of, right? Very Padma Kalpam, as the very first moments of Brahma we're talking of. Okay, so Mitunam Brahmavarchasvi Paramena Samadhina Prajapatihi Saha Bhagavan Ruchihi Tasyam Aji Janat Mitunam Brahmavarchasvi Paramena Samadhina. Brahmavarchasvi. Bhagavan Vyasa Bhagavan uses this padam. It is so powerful. Brahma Tejas. Only when I live the life of a Brahmana, which means Brahman Asharati Ti Iti Brahmana, always involved in Brahman only. Then how will be my conduct? What will be my tejas? Automatically there is an effulgence around me. And several other qualities also manifest. Sacrifice, truth, cleanliness, kind word, living in love, so many things automatically come. That Brahma Tejasvi, that Brahma Varchasvi, the very exalted thing. Brahma Varchasvi Bhagavan Saha Prajapatihi. That Prajapati Ruchi was a Brahma Varchasvi. Living the life of a Brahmin, always mind focused only at Bhagavan. That Bhagavan is the Bhagavan Sahab, that's so famous, so powerful, the Aishwarya that comes with that. That Saha Prajapati, that Ruchi Prajapati, Paramena Samadhina. See again, the Brahma Varchasvi comes because of Paramena Samadhi. Samadhi means always one with Bhagavan, with Supreme Entity. Naturally, Brahma will just come. Because with total intense bhakti to Bhagavan, Tasyam, that means with Akuti, Mitunam, see, we call Mituna Rasi and all that, if you remember, you'll always find a man and a woman. The two. Mituna means two. But it actually means both man and woman, both. Okay, male and female. So small kids. But one, we call it twins nowadays, one girl, one boy, that's a Mituna. So, Tasyam Mitunam Ajijanate, that Ruchi Prajapati begot one Mitunam, one twins of boy and a girl with Akuti. Sloka number 4. Yaha tayoho purushaha sakshat vishnuhu yajnasvarupa dhrik ya stri sa dakshina bhutehe amsabhuta anapayini. Yaha tayoho purushaha sakshat vishnuhu yajnasvarupa dhrik. What a beautiful, enjoy the Sanskritam also, very simple Sanskrit what they heard. Okay, this Yaha, who, the Tayoho, among those two, those twins, Yaha Purushaha, the male one, okay, the male one, who are the Yajna Swarupa Dhrik Sakshat Vishnuhu. Vishnu Sahasranam, you all recite Yajna Swarupa Dhrik, one is the form of sacrifice, Yajnam itself, we saw in Varaha Avataram, right? Bhagavan is nothing but Yajna Swarupa. And Dhrik, that Swarupam, manifesting that, Sakshat Vishnu, he is Bhagavan Vishnu himself, one who is present everywhere, indweller in everything, and Sakshat, you are able to not see with your physical eyes, but you know for sure, right? Right in your presence, the certainty. So that male child was Sakshat Vishnu. Ya, which Stri, that female child, Bhutehe, Mahalakshmi, Anapayini, Amsabhuta. Anapayini is indestructible. Amsabhuta, the one Amsam of that Mahalakshmi, and Dakshina was her name. So, male was called Yajna and the daughter was called Dakshina. So Yajna and Dakshina were born to Akuti and Ruchi. That up to that point, I hope it's clear. Now, our time is up. So we will take up Slokam 5 onwards tomorrow, 5 onwards. Then in Slokam 6 also, there is a phenomenal teaching on how to lead a married life. What should be the relationship between husband and wife if it were like this, as defined, as illustrated by Bhagavan himself. Okay, if one is able to live like that, what type of children you will get? You will get phenomenal children. Okay, so good quality children is and the operating principle, modus operandi, how the teaching of how to lead a good married life, they're all described very beautifully in Slokam 6. We will take it up with Bhagavan's grace tomorrow. Start with 5 tomorrow, so we will stop today at Slokam 4. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Samastalokaha Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastalokaha Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastalokaha Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om.